My name is Scott, and I'm a network engineer here at Trango Systems. And today we're going to be going through the TrangoLINK GigaPlus, and I'm going to show you quickly how to set it up and get your first link up and running. Hopefully you'll learn something along the way. So I'm going to go ahead and get my GigaPluses out of the box here and go ahead and get them hooked up. So I got my two units here. I'm just going to throw them on the shelf here. These would typically be in, obviously, two different cities or another side of the city or wherever you may be doing, miles apart. But in our case, they are, for the lab today, just going to be sitting here right next to each other. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in the power here. And that's obviously the critical component. I've already got the power pre-wired. I've also got my Ethernet cables here. I'm only going to plug in one to the management interface for now because they both have the same IP address. I don't want them to conflict with each other. And then I'm going to grab my IF cable going to my ODU and attach that here. Make sure that's on there good and tight. Do a little wiggle test to make sure that it's connected. Obviously, the ODU could be outdoors. In our case, it's just sitting here on a shelf. And do the same thing for the other unit. And then once they've got their power and the management ports attached, again, I'm only doing one. I'm going to go ahead and flip on the power, and you'll see pretty quickly the power come up. And as soon as that power's up, then we'll go over and log into them. Take it from there. Now that we've got the units hooked up, I'm going to go ahead and ping them first to see if the first unit is up so we can go ahead and get that configured. So the default address is 192.168.100.100. I'm just going to go ahead and ping that and wait for a response. And then as soon as I get a response, I know we're ready to go ahead and log in there. Okay, so I've got my response here. I see that it's replying to pings. So I'm just going to go ahead and change that to a telnet instead of a ping here. And we'll be ready to connect. So the login screen comes up, and the login is admin, and the default password is Trango. And you'll see you're at the view mode there. So we need to go ahead. First thing I need to do is just get this guy all configured up. And first I'm going to start with changing the IP address on it. So we're going to go into config mode and then go into Trango. And so that I can talk to both of them, we need to change this one first. We use the IP config command and then tell it IP 192.168.100.101. I'm just going to move to the next one and set the subnet mask there as well with it. And as soon as I hit enter, of course I'm going to lose that connection on that IP address. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up another telnet window here. And I'm going to have another DOS prompt. And again, I'll type in telnet 192.168.100.101, and we're logging in again to the unit. So I just type config. Again, the password is Trango. Now, there's a few things that we need to do. First, I want to check to make sure that my ODU is powered on, and you can do that a number of ways, but I like to use the model command. And since it says that the model is not applicable, then we know it must not be powered on. So I'm going to go ODU power on, and that takes just another couple seconds or so for that to power on, and then we can get the information that we need out of it and make sure we've got the right side attached. So now that my ODU is powered on, I run the model command again. It tells me now that I've got the A side attached, and that's what's important here. I need to know which frequency I'm going to use. In my case, I'm going to use the frequency of 21.472. You would need to use whatever you're licensed to use. So I'm going to configure the frequency, and then I also need to set my speed. So in this case, I'm going to use speed with a bandwidth of 30, and then I'm going to use the modulation of QAM 32. And then I'll set that. You'll see I get 118 megabits. Okay? There's a variety of different bandwidths and modulations that you can use to get different speeds, depending on your needs and your license requirement. Now we're pretty much actually done with this side, and I need to go ahead and connect to the other one. So I'm going to plug in my other management port here since I've changed the IP, and we should be good to go. So I've just plugged in the cable on my second unit. So imagine if you were doing this in real life that we would have now gone to the other side of the city or to another building. In our case, again, the lab, we want to get this set up before you go out there and make sure that everything is working and you understand the procedures to do it. So gone ahead and do that. We've done that. I just want to go ahead and set this up, ping again to make sure the radio is up and ready. I'm getting a response. So I just go ahead now and telnet to that address. Again, the default's 192.168.100.100. We changed one of them to the host of 101. So this one's still there. Go ahead and log in, admin Trango. Again, the view mode, go to config, password Trango. Now I need to set up the same things that I did on the other side. So I'm going to do model. Again, you'll see that it's not powered on. So I'm going to do ODU power on. And we'll wait just a second while it turns on. Again, you need to make sure you're setting the frequencies on the right side. So that's something to keep in mind as you take these units from your lab out into the field to deploy them. You need to remember which side's the high and which side's the low. The IDUs are identical, but the outdoor units are definitely frequency specific. So now my power's on, I can run the model again, I can see which transmit frequencies this particular unit will take. I'm going to go ahead and set my frequency here. Just use the frequency command to set it to 22704. And you'll see that it says its receive frequency is 21472. If I went ahead and gone back to my previous window, you'd see that's where we set up, and the other one is transmit 21472. So I need to do the same thing, speed 30, plan 32, get that set up, and at this point our link really should be up. You're ready to go. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for choosing Trango for your wireless needs.